But right now I'm going to use a little bit of an essential oil. I'm going to put this on my septum. So I put it on my septum, put it on my throat. And this is going to help activate my throat chakra a little bit. Just open me up here.
Hair done, makeup on. A 40-year-old man getting ready, not for a concert though, but to target vulnerable teenage girls.
Everybody, happy birthday, dear Cassie. Happy birthday.
It's always been like this. The same thing over and over again. This wasn't the first time he did this.
This creepy-looking man has been doing it for over a decade, young girls in. And one of those girls was just 13 years old when he asked her.
That's what it sounds like.
I love her. Follow her, or I'm gonna f***ing you.
18-year-old Shay had no idea what she was getting herself into. She had always been his fan since she was in 7th grade, so she went to his concert to get her shirt signed. But the night ended with more than a simple sign.
Look at that sunset.
Pink.
He raped her. That was not even the weirdest part. When Shay visited his concert the next time, he looked at her mom and told her how hot she is.
Unfortunately, she didn't know what was going on and couldn't talk about it to anyone. She didn't know the person she just met would soon be exposed as a predator.
And today, he's accused by more than 21 women of sexual assault. Multiple police reports have been filed over the years, detailing disturbing patterns of grooming, manipulation, and abuse.
And as a result, he's been banned from various platforms like Instagram.
Once the dream boy of every eyeliner-smudged, neon-haired teenage girl, Dahvie Vanity, isn't so dreamy anymore. Today, he's more like a ghost. Is he banned? Yes. But is he in jail for what he has done? Well, no.
Today, he is just a lost soul still floating around the internet, trying to reclaim a space that doesn't want him anymore. No one really knows where he is, not physically, not emotionally. But one thing's clear, he's still free, not arrested, not convicted, just gone.
And yet, the signs were always there. The warnings, the weird behavior, the whispers behind stage doors. But somehow, everyone, fans, friends, even the music scene itself chose to look the other way.
But how did it get this bad? Like, why was he not controlled before everything spiraled into this? How did a man with dozens of allegations and a sea of victims manage to slip through the cracks?
That's whirling cows and you know what I'm saying? Go to your bedroom, download some porn. There's a great website. It's called clip.com. Check it out. It's pretty awesome.
In the early 2000s, MySpace ruled the internet. MySpace, the first big social media platform where users could customize profiles, share music, and connect with others. And when scene culture was everything.
Back then, he was just a flashy guy with teased hair, thick eyeliner, and a name, Jesus David Torres. On MySpace, he called himself the elite hair god, a hairstylist turned internet icon. But that wasn't enough.
You see, in 2006, in the neon haze of MySpace and heavy eyeliner, a strange little music group was born in Orlando, Florida. Well, it was something Dahvie created.
Jesus David Torres, already calling himself Dahvie Vanity, had bounced from band to band in the local Florida music scene, but none of them stuck.
No one really wanted to work with him, not just because his music lacked originality, but because Dahvie had a reputation for being arrogant, controlling, and outright difficult to collaborate with. Fellow musicians complained about his erratic behavior, inflated ego, and the way he constantly sought attention rather than teamwork. On top of that, there were already whispers about his inappropriate conduct off stage, which made people even more hesitant to be associated with him.
Hi, I'm Dahvie, and this is the Hurricane Survival Guide for Front Magazine.
So, like most self-declared geniuses do, he decided to start his own project. But it wasn't easy. Dahvie wasn't exactly a hot pick in the local music scene. He bounced from person to person, met dozens of aspiring artists, but none wanted to stick around. Some straight up called him difficult, others labeled him an attention seeker, and a few even called him a lost cause.
On a night, they talk like this. Ew! Ah!
Why are you such a peasant?
I was not born.
Why are you?
But eventually, he found a small group of people willing to join him. Maybe they didn't know the full story, or maybe they just didn't care.
Maddie Malloret, Christopher Mungillo, and Rebecca Fugate together formed a group called Love the Fashion.
Yeah, that was the name. Surprisingly, it gained a little traction online, thanks to the rise of MySpace, where they could share music and build fan base. Scene kids loved the over-the-top hair, neon colors, and chaotic energy.
But it wasn't enough. By 2007, the group was rebranded into something more dramatic, something darker.
All because Dahvie wanted more shock value. The bubblegum edge wasn't turning heads fast enough, so he leaned into something edgier, both musically and visually. More eyeliner, more gore, more chaos. And just like that, Blood on the Dance Floor was born.
BOTDF was bold, loud, bright, strange. They mixed electronic pop with screamo and called it crunkcore, a genre so chaotic that even Urban Dictionary calls it one of the worst genres ever created.
But teens loved it. Their music was catchy, aggressive, sexual, and rebellious. Perfect for kids trying to escape rules and find their own identity.
I want you. Are you ready, you boys? Tonight, we in hell.
Songs like Bewitched racked up millions of views.
Dahvie wore vampire makeup, fake fangs, wigs in every color, and platform boots. He didn't just look like a cartoon villain. He acted like one too.
But behind that glittery mess was something deeply dangerous, because Dahvie wasn't just building a fan base, he was building a trap.
The original lineup didn't last long. Maddie bailed before they even dropped their first album, Let's Start a Riot, in 2008. The others left soon after, claiming they couldn't tour. Christopher Mongillo and Rebecca Fugate also walked away soon after, officially citing an inability to tour. But there were already rumors of Dahvie being an erratic person, his controlling attitude, and the growing discomfort around his obsession with young fans.
But Dahvie, he wasn't giving up, not when things were just starting to catch fire. And catch fire they did.
I gotta dedicate this one. Who's gonna be my witch tonight? I need a witch.
The band quickly gained traction, especially among teenage girls. They had everything that the scene culture loved: bright hair, fishnet gloves, bad attitudes, and music that screamed rebellion.
When I met him, though, I was completely fascinated by him. He was just an interesting person. My mom loved him.
Songs about hating school, humiliating people, loving chaos, and not caring what parents thought.
I want you to scream me. 1, 2, 3.
That was a direct hit. It was their language. And Dahvie, he was their idol.
BOTDF is, quite frankly, the reason I am still breathing.
The rush, the adrenaline, the screaming crowds, it all made fans feel alive.
You see, while he was singing about freedom and loyalty to his fans, he was targeting them one by one, especially the young ones. He found them online, he messaged them, flattered them, made them feel seen. And then he invited them to shows, to the hotel rooms, and that's where things turned.
They liked the adrenaline they got when they rebelled against their parents. Everything about them was garbage, but that's what made it feel cool.
Several girls who later came forward said they met Dahvie at all ages shows, where he'd often on stage. They said he made them feel special, like they were part of something big, like he was doing all this for them.
But they didn't realize what was happening, not until it was too late. By the time they saw through the eyeliner, he had already done the damage, and no one had stopped him, and it made grooming them dangerously easy. Dahvie was hunting. He used the band's rising fame to pull young fans in, offering attention, validation, and fake promises that felt like love.
He was the center of their universe, and they had no idea where he was slowly pulling them into his world without them even realizing it. The preying had started way before the actual band was formed. It started sooner than most people think.
Well, once we came out of the movies, it was dark. And I didn't think about this when he parked his vehicle. He parked behind the movie theaters, and he parked near a dumpster and a tree that hung over.
The year was 2007. Blood on the Dance Floor hadn't even released their first album yet. Dahvie wasn't even going by Dahvie Vanity at the time, but his pattern had already begun.
That summer, he connected with 18-year-old Diana Farrell on MySpace.
She thought she was chatting with a cool, edgy hairstylist, someone who could give her a trendy new look. He offered to come over and do her hair in person. He drove across the state, showed up late, just late enough for Diana's mom to leave for her night shift. She was now alone in the house with a 22-year-old man.
That night, something happened. He forced himself on her and forced her to have oral as Idaho X with him. Despite such an unforgivable act between a minor and an adult being legally defined as non-consensual, police didn't charge him at all. They let him off with a simple warning. Diana's mother had no other option but to request that Dahvie cut all his contacts with her daughter. There were no other consequences. He simply walked away.
And Diana's story was just the first of many.
As Blood on the Dance Floor grew more popular, especially among teens, Dahvie seemed to use that fame as a shield. He had the look, the persona, the crowd.
But most dangerously, he had influence over his fans. People started raising concerns, but somehow it wasn't enough.
And he didn't stay quiet either. In fact, he leaned into the attention, writing lyrics that mocked the growing criticism.
Fans were divided. Some were angry, but many defended him, especially younger fans who couldn't imagine their idol doing something wrong. They believed in him so much they blocked out the truth. Then things got louder.
What? I can't even... I'm trying... I can't even... You're stupid.
As years passed by, more people were coming forward. First a handful, then a dozen, then over 21 individuals. Most of them saying they were teenagers at the time. Their stories were painful, detailed, and disturbingly similar.
I know it's difficult and
Yeah. He proceeded to expose himself and try to make me give him oral.
But just when it seemed like things couldn't go any further, they did.
Yeah, and I in her mouth.
In 2009, at a concert in Denver, Dahvie was arrested. His bandmate at the time, Garrett Ecstasy McLaughlin, had seen him on the tour bus with two teenage girls. Another witness confirmed it. One of the girls told officers she had been harmed. Dahvie was taken into custody, but within days, he was out again.
Cool, I'm gonna have you after the show today.
What did he do next?
He made a video, not to explain, not to show remorse, but to dismiss the entire incident. He claimed the girl had mental problems and that the truth was something else entirely, but the stories kept coming.
One young woman, identified publicly as Kay, met him when she was 15. She traveled from Albany to Florida, hoping to experience the tour. She helped then with the tour merchandise. Her mom allowed her to stay overnight, and that night something happened that Kay never forgot.
Dahvie once again forced himself on the girl in the middle of the night as she was trying to go to the bathroom. She later described how he acted like nothing had occurred. He kept talking to her like they were still close. He even asked her to come back for another tour.
He always did that to show how abuse was a normal thing that happens daily.
And she did. Because when someone you admire treats you like you matter, it's hard to see things clearly. Kay convinced herself it had been a one-time mistake. Because that's what the mind does. It tries to protect you from pain, but what happened to Kay? It was not the only story.
It was one of many. He texted multiple girls at the same time to get at least one of them, if not all of them.
For someone facing so many serious accusations, Dahvie Vanity still insisted he'd done nothing wrong.
Friends.
He didn't apologize, he didn't step away. Instead, he doubled down, claiming he was being attacked unfairly. He even said he was being crucified like Jesus Christ, but more and more voices were rising against him, and their stories were too detailed, too similar, and too painful to ignore. He would send them all the kinds of texts that no teenager, or in fact anyone, should see in their lifetime.
Could you sign right here?
You got us.
Here, you sign my shirt?
One of the victims was Megan, a young woman from Fort Lupton, Colorado. She was 18 when she met Dahvie. He was 28. She had been a fan since she was 11. She admired him so much that by the time she was a teenager, she believed every kind word he said. So when he messaged her on Instagram in April 2014, she was stunned.
Oh, video? Yeah, video. Okay, you got
Oh my god.
Are we gonna make a something? Cause,
yes. Yes, please. I can do this.
my porn star name is Fire Street.
Okay, get close. Come on, nice and close. Come on, go together. Are you just gonna take a picture of someone?
He told her he'd be in Denver that July for a show and wanted to take her out. To Megan, it was like a dream, her idol reaching out to her, choosing her. From there, the communication never stopped.
Dahvie sent her regular messages. He called. He talked casually, kindly, like nothing was ever wrong. And slowly, Megan began questioning herself. Was something off? Or had she just misunderstood? He was being so nice, she thought. Maybe everything that happened wasn't as serious as she first believed.
That's exactly what happens when someone with influence blurs the line between admiration and manipulation. It started with a simple movie hangout. Nothing serious, just a moment that felt fun and exciting for someone her age. But then he kissed her, and from that point, everything changed. After that kiss happened one day, at 3 a.m, she found Dahvie lurking in the dark near her house. He was there to warn her and tell her to delete all the messages.
Anyone would think that it was done there, but no. Dahvie continued texting her as if nothing had happened, the same tactic everywhere. Later, he offered to fly her out to visit him at his home in San Diego.
It sounded like a dream, until she realized there was no return ticket. He told her that if she wanted to go home, she'd have to do something in return.
Then there was Emerald Poor. She had just turned 18. It was 2011, and she was thrilled to see Dahvie in person at a mall in Norfolk, Virginia, right before a Blood on the Dance Floor show. They chatted briefly while he was getting his nails painted, and she told him she'd be at the show.
After the performance, she went to the merch table. Dahvie gave her his number and asked if she wanted to hang out. She jokingly suggested breakfast instead.
The next morning, she went to his hotel room expecting something simple, a chat, a meal. But what happened next wasn't what she expected at all. He quickly led her into the bathroom and again forced himself onto her. She acted as if she didn't have a choice. It left her stunned, quiet, confused, and she wasn't alone. Those close to Dahvie had seen enough.
Garrett, Ecstasy McLaughlin, one of the early members of Blood on the Dance Floor, had already seen him getting too cozy with teen girls, and he would witness how Dahvie would disappear with young fans before and after shows. He said it deeply unsettled him, so much so that in 2009 he left the band entirely. But Dahvie didn't stop. He simply moved on, bringing in someone new.
He found Jive on Monroe, just 17 at the time.
The two began performing together, and while the band's popularity continued to grow, things behind the scenes were falling apart. Jay often felt uncomfortable.
The over-the-top behavior on stage, the strange energy around young fans, it all became too much. Even his own relationship with Dahvie was kind of confusing. A daddy relationship.
He was embarrassed and didn't want to tell people what band he was in.
At one point, Jay even lived with Dahvie in Arizona, and he remembered clearly how young girls were always around.
Me right now, like hanging out with like 15 and 16-year-olds, like what could I possibly have in common with people that young? And that's what I wasn't able to like wrap my head around after I found out that he was like 25 at the time we met.
And one of them was Ty Burns.
She was another young fan drawn into the band's world, and she too carried a story.
Because by now, what had once seemed like isolated incidents were forming a clear pattern.
Wait, hey guys, so it's Saturday, and I'm at his house, and we just been like chilling all day, and went to go get his car.
Dahvie Vanity wasn't just building a fan base, he was building a web, and almost every thread led back to a girl who was too young to understand what was happening, until it was already too late.
Giving him relationship advice. A 15-year, almost 16-year-old giving a 27-year-old man advice.
Ty Burns was in the 10th grade the first time she met Dahvie Vanity.
She was a massive fan, obsessed with the colorful hair, the music, and the rebellious attitude. Back then, he was more than a performer to her. It was a dream. Someone who saw her when the rest of the world didn't.
The point of these videos are to remind me, to remind anyone who really even watches these, Dahvie's gonna be fine one day. one day.
Their first interaction began online. It started on Facebook in December 2011 and quickly moved to texting. For a high schooler like Ty, it felt like the chance of a lifetime. A famous artist reaching out personally? It didn't seem real.
But it was. And soon enough, he was coming to her hometown in Houston, Texas.
I'll have a chance with him one day. Not now. I'm too young. But later in life I will. I know. So anyway, he was getting jealous of me talking to those guys.
When Dahvie announced he'd be stopping in Houston, Ty jumped at the opportunity to meet him in person. After some convincing, her mother agreed to let her go, on the condition that it was just a casual meetup at a public place. They decided on the Galleria Mall.
The house was Bo, Mom. So that's the living room. And whatever.
Ty had already been honest about her age. She was still in school, but Dahvie, who was 27 at the time, didn't seem to care. He even gave her a nickname, My Little Schoolgirl, one that hinted exactly how he saw her.
So I kind of pulled away, because I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl. Good girl.
Ty thought it was harmless, at least back then.
And then I see my mom, a couple, I don't know, a ways away, talking to Dahvie. And, okay, so we had a girl come over while I was here, so I was kind of, a little bit pissed. But he was talking to me about it, and he's like, I really don't...
They met for lunch at the Cheesecake Factory one Friday afternoon in January 2012. She remembers it being awkward at first, nervous energy, butterflies. But Dahvie was charming, polite. He paid for the meal and smiled a lot. Ty began to let her guard down. She thought he was just a nice guy. That feeling didn't last.
So, the point of these videos are to remind anyone who really even watches these, Dahvie's gonna be mine one day. One day.
After lunch, he led her down into the mall's underground parking lot where his black SUV was parked. Ty assumed they were heading somewhere else, maybe another part of the mall, maybe a drive to grab dessert. But once they were inside the vehicle, the tone changed. He didn't ask questions. He didn't give explanations. Ty didn't fully understand what was happening. She didn't know how to stop it, so she didn't.
Yelling at her, saying, "You whore, no, you don't even give good head." And when I heard this, I was like, oh, you got told. Anyway, so, I got, God, my extensions itch. I am sweaty. I want to take a shower, and no, I want to get wasted and take a shower. Anyway, so everyone, she was walking away. She was, far, far away. And Mom was walking with William Control's drummer and lead singer, and they were walking whatever, and everyone was making Dahvie feel bad because she was, walking away by herself.
And that was only the beginning.
In May 2012, a few months later, Dahvie invited Ty, her mom, and her younger brother to come visit him at his home in Arizona.
Bo, Mom.
It was spring break and it sounded like a fun getaway.
Ty's mom agreed, largely because Dahvie seemed generous and kind. He had even offered to help them financially. He paid to get her car out of the impound. He promised to cover some travel expenses. He said all the right things.
I've come.
Anyway,
So they packed up and drove 23 hours straight from Texas to Arizona.
But once they arrived, the promises started to fade.
Dahvie never gave Ty's mother the money he said he would, and what Ty experienced during that trip, what had already started back in Houston, only continued.
Exactly. After Mom's like, yeah, Ty can spend the night. He's like, okay. And he takes that girl to her car to leave. I'm like, well, I wasn't really thinking at the time. I didn't notice it until my mom.
Her mom, trusting and unaware, thought she was letting her daughter spend time with someone who genuinely cared. But Ty now looks back with regret, knowing her mom had no idea what was really going on.
She wasn't the only one fooled.
Others in the music scene had begun to notice strange patterns too. Artists like Jeffree Star and Ash Costello, the vocalist of New Year's Day, claimed they had witnessed behavior that deeply disturbed them. Even his bandmates saw it happening.
The problem was, no one said anything publicly. Not yet.
Meanwhile, whispers continued to grow louder online. Forums, Facebook pages, and blog posts all circled back to the same rumors. Dahvie Vanity had been using his fame to target his own fan base, many of whom were very young and looked up to him.
Still, Blood on the Dance Floor somehow carried on. It released new music. It was like nothing could stop him. But something did start to shift, slowly and then all at once. A Facebook group called BOTDDF, his garbagecore had one goal: to expose Dahvie Vanity, and unlike the critics before them, they gained traction.
They didn't just complain, they compiled timelines, collected testimonies, shared names, brought the stories together in a way that couldn't be ignored.
Eventually, a handful of women decided it was time. They reached out to media outlets. They wanted their voices to be heard. Not for revenge, not for attention, but to protect other young fans from going through the same thing they did.
They shared their stories with journalists. Some spoke anonymously, others used their real names. They were tired of staying silent.
The illusion around Dahvie Vanity, so carefully crafted with music, wigs, eyeliner, and internet fame, was cracking. And for the first time, people were starting to see what was underneath.
Dahvie Vanity had always marketed himself as the misunderstood hero of the internet age.
Despite the increasingly dark themes found in his songs, he painted himself as a goofy, relatable scene icon. Someone who got it. Someone who understood what it meant to be an outsider. And for thousands of teenagers across the world, that was more than enough.
To his loyal followers, known as the Terror Crew, Dahvie was more than just a singer. He was a symbol of rebellion, resilience, and self-expression.
He flooded social media with messages about self-love, positivity, and overcoming pain. The eyeliner, the rainbow-colored hair, and the dramatic selfies only made the persona stronger. He looked like someone who'd been through a lot and now wanted to help others heal too.
Getting into our makeup or doing a hair or outfit, whatever it is, it's what makes us happy. And that's all that matters. Androgyny is just basically containing feminine and masculine traits.
But that image was just a mask.
He would always approach girls with the same tactics. Teenage girls would think as if he is the only person who gets them and eventually gets themselves into the trap.
Experts have explained this behavior before.
When someone is taken advantage of, but the person who harmed them acts as if nothing ever happened, it creates confusion. It makes the victim second-guess everything.
They may start believing they were the ones who misunderstood, that maybe it wasn't a violation. Maybe it was just a rough moment or a bad experience that they overreacted to.
On the dance floor since November 2011. They've honestly helped me through so much, and I love that they're not afraid to be different.
And this psychological trap where someone doubts their own boundaries is exactly what keeps many victims from speaking out. Sometimes victims return to the person who hurt them because they haven't fully accepted what happened. They try to rewrite the memory by re-engaging, as if that could undo the pain. But even though the accusations kept piling up, Dahvie never addressed any of this publicly.
I know, I was thinking that to myself, like, ow, I burned my
year.
Some bacon.
When articles started getting released, documenting over a dozen serious allegations, many expected a response. But he said nothing. Instead, he uploaded selfies and cat pictures to his Instagram page, quietly deleting any comments that mentioned the accusations.
Under the surface, the anger was growing, but on the outside, he was pretending nothing had changed.
They've taught me that it's okay to be different, and they've taught me to never be less than myself.
A fan once messaged him after the article offering their support. According to a now-deleted screenshot shared on Twitter, Dahvie responded with,
"Haters gonna hate LOL. I just block and delete." And surprisingly, some fans still defended him.
Dahvie Vanity had spent years building trust with his fan base, especially the youngest, most vulnerable members. He called them family. He told them the world didn't understand them, and in return, they gave him their love and their silence.
In the aftermath of growing media coverage and mounting allegations, most would expect public outrage to finally catch up with Dahvie Vanity.
But what happened next proved just how strong his grip was on his fan base, especially among young teenage girls who still believed in the image he had so carefully built.
Despite a lot of sites publishing their explosive article outlining over a dozen accusations against him, something strange unfolded on social media. Instead of condemnation, many fans still came to his defense.
They flooded comment sections, forums, and Instagram posts with hashtags like Dahvie Vanity, eyes innocent, calling the accusations fake and the victims liars.
They said things like, if this happened in 2015, why bother talking about it right now? They believed every news report was a fake, and it was just dragging their idol down. But the truth is never that simple. Victims of emotional manipulation, grooming, and abuse often struggle for years to even recognize what they experienced, let alone speak out. And when their abuser is a beloved public figure, the backlash they face for telling the truth can be devastating. Even former bandmates like Garrett Ecstasy and Jaya Von Monroe, who publicly distanced themselves from Dahvie and denounced his behavior, were instantly targeted.
Fans turned on them. They were called jealous, accused of betrayal, told they were just trying to ruin Dahvie's legacy.
One of the most vocal supporters online was Jessica Slaughter, a devoted fan who refused to believe the stories were real.
She posted videos, tweets, and long emotional captions defending Dahvie's character. To her, he was still the man who made her feel seen during the hardest parts of her youth.
Hey YouTube, it's Jessie Slaughter. I'm just saying thanks to Dahvie Vanity. No, I'm not actually being sarcastic about that. I'm literally saying thank you to him because he's what's got me all where I am.
And while Jessica's loyalty may seem extreme, it reflected a larger issue.
Perhaps the most tragic example of this blind loyalty and toxic fandom is the Jessie Slaughter case.
He's the reason I have that name. He's the reason I'm wearing this outfit. Whoa! Tippy camera. He's the reason I'm wearing this today.
It began in 2010, when an 11-year-old child named Jessica Leonhard, who went by Jessie Slaughter online, posted a video that went unexpectedly viral. They were known on platforms like YouTube and MySpace for posting clips about fashion, scene culture, and local drama.
But things changed when rumors began circulating that Jessie was involved in a relationship with Dahvie Vanity. At the time, Jessie was only 10 years old.
The internet exploded.
Hey YouTube, it's Jessie Slaughter here, and this is to all you haters, okay? Guess what? You guys are you know what? You don't faze me. I'm just doing this just so you can tell. I read the comments, I read the messages, I reply to them.
Jessie made more videos trying to defend themselves from the rumors, but the internet, especially users on 4chan, was relentless.
Okay, you guys, this is Jessie Slaughter here, and I just wanted to say that you guys have ruined my life.
They leaked Jessie's personal information, phone number, address, full name, and the harassment only escalated from there.
Okay, this is Jessie Slaughter. I just want to tell you guys that you ruined my life. My household has been torn ever since you guys started doing this. I haven't been able to do anything. Okay?
And don't be saying
I'm not. I'm saying I haven't been able to.
When Jessie's father, Gene Leonhard, appeared in a video angrily defending his child and shouting threats at the trolls, the clip became infamous. The phrase, "you done goofed," became a meme overnight, but the attention only made things worse.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this is from her father. You bunch of lying, no good punks. And I know who it's coming from because I've back traced it.
The internet mocked the family.
It's Harry Potter and you guys ruining my life. And I know it's not like that. Call me a whore.
The harassment intensified, and Jessie, barely 12 at the time, lost all of their friends.
Cyber police and the state police. So you better write one more thing or screw with my computer again, you'll be arrested.
Eventually, they were placed under police protection, and their home was monitored for safety. Jessie underwent counseling to cope with the bullying, public shame, and trauma that came with being thrown into an internet storm at such a young age.
The authorities believed she might be suicidal. She says she isn't, but can see how a tween could be pushed over the edge.
I think that it's completely wrong that people would taunt somebody to some degree that they would actually kill themselves over it.
Then, in 2011, Jessie's father was arrested for physically harming them during an argument. It added another layer of pain to an already traumatizing experience. But even after all of this, the story didn't end there. Years passed, the internet moved on, but Jessie didn't forget.
Today's my birthday. I turned 14. I really don't have anything important to say in my videos. I don't know why you guys watch them other than I find it trolling. You see? I can't do that right. I used to crack on my mom with that. I cut my nails.
I'm in here, making a video. Yeah, I got some new school clothes. Something I made in 2nd grade.
On March 2nd, 2018, she made a Tumblr post accusing Dahvie Vanity of misconduct for the first time publicly. Then in March 2020, Jessie appeared in an interview with Chris Hansen, the host of To Catch a Predator.
Yes, journalist Chris Hansen officially started interviewing the victims and talking about their sides of the story and their experiences when they were with Dahvie.
It was there in that interview that Jessie revealed what they say happened in April 2009 at a house party when they were just 10 years old and Dahvie was 24. According to Jessie, something happened that day which no child should ever have to experience. The same thing and f***ing himself on her. And after that, everything changed.
These people are like, what the f*** are you guys doing? Right. And we're doing absolutely nothing.
They got a camera.
Bye. My s'more casserole. Friggin', it's, oh no, where's the chocolate? It's like right in there.
More people began listening, more survivors came forward, and the so-called rumors started forming a much clearer picture.
Shocking, because Dahvie's always been horrible.
Even former music collaborators, once again like Jeffree Star, Ash Costello, and Nicki Misery, have stated that they personally witnessed Dahvie acting in ways that raised serious red flags, especially around younger fans, during tours like Warped Tour and All the Rage Tour of 2012.
It was the way that he was such a master manipulator at making things seem not as crazy as they were.
And yet, despite all of this, Dahvie Vanity continued to perform for years. He released new music, he continued posting selfies, he acted like none of it mattered.
And for a time, he got away with it.
But cracks were forming.
I didn't really fully start to realize that this was like full on until the Huffington Post article came out, because then I was in therapy and I brought it up to my therapist, and then I realized, oh my god, I was literally taken advantage of.
The protective shield built by fandom, denial, and internet fame was starting to collapse, piece by piece.
I had tweeted something along the lines of like, I really want to see Blood on the Dance Floor in concert, but I know my parents won't let me. And he had seen that tweet and he ended up DMing me and saying, hey, I'll give you free tickets if you want to come to my show.
More people were seeing the truth. More victims were speaking out.
Back in the day, I was sorry, my phone's a little weird. I was a MySpace personality, I guess you could say. So, and Dahvie was too. He was like Dahvie Vanity Elite Hair God or whatever he went by. And, you know, we all kind of stuck together back then. So we became friends on MySpace.
Most of the stories were covered in the exposé articles with each and every detail. The girls were different, but the story remained the same.
And Dahvie Vanity, once seen as a misunderstood rock star, was now being recognized for what so many had tried to say all along.
As the years passed and the list of allegations against Dahvie Vanity grew longer, the internet didn't go silent. Instead, it roared.
Survivors started coming together, sharing their experiences in online communities and private groups. The Facebook group, which we talked about, known for calling the band Garbage Core, has become a digital safe haven where members discuss their encounters and actively work to stop Dahvie from reaching more vulnerable fans.
If a venue announced a Blood on the Dance Floor performance, the group would act swiftly, contacting organizers, sharing reports and articles, and pushing for cancellations. And often, it worked. For the first time, the stage lights weren't turning on, they were shutting down. By 2019, reports claimed that Dahvie, then 35 years old, was living with his parents in Florida.
Touring had slowed down, concerts were being blocked, venues were backing away, but Dahvie Vanity wasn't done.
Instead, he did what many do when the spotlight grows too hot. He rebranded.
He renamed the official Blood on the Dance Floor YouTube channel to Kawaii Monster, a softer, cartoonish alias under which he began releasing new music.
The sound might have shifted slightly, but the strategy remained. Appeal to youth, hide behind color and glitter, and stay under the radar.
Through his brand, The Dark Arts, Dahvie now sells eccentric merchandise like dark ribcage hoodies with bat ears, cloaked sweatsuits, and gear under both the Kawaii Monster and Blood on the Dance Floor names.
He's not on tour, but he's still selling, still posting, still watching.
And somehow, despite the reports and the documentation, he continues to find support.
Over the years, Dahvie has responded to the accusations, not with remorse, but with denial and aggression. He's posted defensive messages on social media and even baked those statements into his music.
In the 2010 song You Done Goofed, he raps,
"Your fiction trash talkings are done out of a hate, but I'm about to murder it all. I'm about to eradicate. Look at me, I'm beautiful, not a suspect."
It was directed towards Jesse, the lyrics and the song.
In another track, Crucified by Your Lies, 2013, the lyrics became even more pointed. Just with their lies almost pushed me inside. Call me a... Here's the truth, can you take it? My name and reputation won't be the target of a...
Rather than taking accountability, he framed himself as the victim, a man wronged by lies, crucified by hate, as he often put it.
But were there any real consequences?
To an extent, yes.
In 2014, the industrial band Combi Chris dropped Blood on the Dance Floor from their tour, citing concerns about their past behavior.
After a major expose, online retailer Big Cartel cut business ties with Vanity.
And in 2019, Spotify removed BOTDF's catalog for violating its content guidelines.
However, his new music under Kawaii Monster is still available on streaming platforms today. It's the same man, just wearing a different mask. So, where is he now? As of 2025, there's no confirmed news. He's not in jail, he's not on trial, but he is very much out there, active online, occasionally uploading and likely searching for his next opportunity.
And that's what makes the story so disturbing, because even after dozens of women spoke up, even after news stories, canceled tours, and widespread online outrage, he hasn't been stopped.
He's still free.
It's disturbing that he's still out there making money with a following and potentially victimizing other young women.
And somewhere behind a screen, he might be messaging someone new, someone young, someone who still believes in him, someone who doesn't know any better yet. That's why this story can't just end here. It needs to be shared, repeated, talked about, because awareness is protection. And if even one person sees the warning signs and walks away, then this painful story may have saved a life. But what do you think? Do you have any stories related to it? Did you know him? Let us know in the comments section below.
Boom. I'm in a freezer. Kelly, what the hell were I? Refuse, man. This is it. Sucks.